Welcome to Research Perch from the Massage Therapy Foundation. Short, practical insights into massage therapy research and how it can benefit your practice.
Hello, everyone. This is Doug Nelson, the president of the Massage Therapy Foundation, and welcome to another episode of Research Perch. In this episode, I have two guests with me, Micah Rosnow and Dr. Nikki Monk, and they are going to be talking about a really interesting research project that they're doing, which is, if I'm not mistaken, Micah, it is the Assessing Affective Measures in the 2020 Pandemic, right? So, Micah, if you would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Micah Rosnow. I have been a board-certified massage therapist. Next month in September is my 10th anniversary, so 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've been practicing that whole time. In the last year, I started working toward my PhD at IUPUI in Indianapolis through Indiana University under Dr. Nikki Monk. And I have been still hands-on in that time, but backed off quite a bit to work on studies. That's pretty much.
Yeah, awesome. And many of you know Dr. Nikki Monk, but let me introduce her anyway. And Nikki, would you say hello and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Nikki Monk. I'm an associate professor at Indiana University in the School of Health and Human Sciences. I'm one of the core faculty members in the program that Micah is a part of. And the project that she has put together is part of her qualifying expectations. So once she completes this and goes through the defense process of it, it will help her towards her qualifying to become a doctoral candidate, and then she'll move into her dissertation phase. But really exciting to be here and let her have a conversation about this. I'm also a trained massage clinician, but have turned to full-time academia as a massage researcher. So also a member of the Board of Trustees for the Massage Therapy Foundation.
Yeah, and you know, again, what's really cool here, we're having this conversation, and both of you in academia, but both of you massage therapists and come from that background and that perspective. And just how cool is that, really? So Micah, I have to ask you about just the title, assessing effective, really, I'm going to flip it around again, assessing affective measures in the 2020 pandemic. Talk to us a little bit about what that is and the word affective and kind of the intents and purposes of this research project.
Okay, so affective is going to be discussing kind of emotions and moods. And how we are perceiving what's going on around us, kind of within us, though. So we have a lot of research done in the past looking at anxiety and depression and how massage may or may not help those kinds of things. So looking at it in this time of not only massage therapists being off of work for a certain amount of time for the beginning of the year, but then how that impacts the massage seekers, so those people that are utilizing massage to help with those specific issues or differences in the way their moods and emotions are managed from one time to another. Looking at that is kind of where we are in just understanding how people are feeling, how they're managing their pain, how they're going through, and if they feel like they're still connected with people, or if they are having issues with kind of managing those aspects of their daily lives, whether they are still getting massage during the time of recommendations of social distancing, or if they've chosen to abstain from that because of health issues.
All right. Wow. So this research study is really about looking at our clients. For those of us who are therapists, this research is geared towards the clients, the people who are recipients, right? Whether or not they are receiving massage now, correct?
Absolutely. And this also gives the massage therapist a way to continue interacting and having a dialogue with their clients if they are themselves abstaining from giving massage for whatever reason, because of COVID, health-related issues, or regulations in states and how they're changing randomly kind of at this point. But it allows us to just kind of, as massage therapists, to still stay engaged with people we are working with, or those people who have chosen to kind of take a break until we understand more effectively what's happening.
Sure. I know when our practice was shut down, you know, I wanted to reach out to clients, but at some point there's like, well, kind of like, and what do you say? And that, you know, how do you keep connecting? But this would be a great way. And actually, I just sent this out to our clients, some of which who have not returned to the office, but this is a great way of, we're still connected to you. We're still communicating with you. We still want to know what you're feeling. So very interesting, very interesting. And really, Nikki, you know, we've had conversations about Project Cope, and this is such a lovely complement because that was focused on the practitioner, but this is very much in the same way, that kind of emotional reaction to all of this, but from the client side of point of view.
Well, it is absolutely, and I think it's important too that this is a nice place to insert what the research, the specific aims of this project are.
Yeah.
And it's really interested in understanding the affective characteristics. So what are these affective characteristics of folks who are choosing to seek massage therapy, and get just sort of a baseline, almost hypothesis generating platform of information that we can look at. And then within that group of folks who are choosing to seek massage therapy, look at those who have had massage therapy in the past, or perhaps this is their first time. And so while this isn't a cause and effect type of research study, and it certainly isn't going to be able to point to and say, well, this is the reason and rationale for it, it provides a foundation of data that hypothesis can be generated for later study, and to sort of be able to put together some things that we might be able to speculate from that. So somebody who's never had massage before, given these circumstances, and is now choosing to come and have massage, and maybe part of their affective characteristics might give us clues into why they're choosing to do that. So that's one component of the study. But then Micah's also reaching out to, or hoping to get people who have had regular massage therapy but now aren't seeking it due to COVID. And so now we'll be able to see what their characteristics, their affective characteristics look like compared to those who have had massage in the past and are continuing to seek massage. So we've got several, by collecting all of this data, Micah's going to have the opportunity to do several different group comparisons with her analysis, again, to generate further hypothesis building. And then Micah, why don't you talk a little bit about the longitudinal component of this as well? So this is just one shot in time, whether they are or aren't, and that baseline information. But Micah, talk a little bit about the longitudinal piece.
So in the beginning, everyone will fill out the same kind of form. So we get that nice baseline data from every single person. But clients or patients can fill it out each time they get a massage before they come in, or we will also be sending them out once a month for about 4 months from the time that they initially did their baseline data intake. So by doing that, we allow not only that baseline measure, but then we can look at the different time points across the different groups as well, to kind of look at differences and see where things are going from there, again, to increase that hypothesis generation kind of stuff. But along those lines, because of the longitudinal aspect, we ask participants to create their own login. That way, if they've participated once, the link stays the same to the survey. And then every single time they go, regardless of who their massage therapist is, they can go ahead and put their information in. And it's half of the survey, so it takes half the time after the first time you've done it. But allowing them to make their own participant ID allows them to go to different massage therapists across a long time and put in their information as much as they seek services.
Wow, yeah, I can't tell you how exciting this is. To me, in one way, it's, you know, for the people who decide to, as Nikki said, to seek massage therapy, and for the people who decide not to, instead of guessing about what their motivations and what their feelings are, like instead of guessing, we're actually assessing and reaching out to them and say, you know, we care about how you feel, and we just need to understand where you're coming from. And that is a rich data set of information that could be really valuable down the road, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And the measures that Micah has chosen to use are validated measures. They're the PROMIS measures that NIH uses. And so these measures are part of really big scales, like 36 questions in some of them, and she's using several, but she's chosen some very specific that are the shorter forms. So it's a couple of questions about sleep, a couple of questions about pain, a couple of questions around mood and emotional well-being. Am I characterizing that appropriately and accurately, Micah?
Yeah, there's actually 9 measures in total with 36 questions. So the largest one is on pain behavior, which asks about 7 questions, which I feel is really important right now because people may be acting differently than they would have before. But each of the measures are about 4 questions apiece. So that way we're not going too in depth. People aren't getting overwhelmed by the amount of questions. They change enough over the 36 questions that you don't get bogged down. It's easy to go through and understand what's being asked. I feel like the way that the measures work together, in general, like all of the promise measures for these kinds of things, they work really well for us to be able to apply this in a normal setting, to better understand kind of these things as we're doing intake and that kind of stuff, maybe in the future, to look at more research questions, and be able to get a network of massage therapists together. And as we're expanding that network, really be able to hone in on the data points that we want to get and be able to utilize these just as part of our regular kind of intake.
Yeah.
As we would any kind of, orthopedic assessment or range of motion assessment. It's just kind of one of those things that we can integrate into our practice and kind of continually understand the people that are coming to us to seek care in a more holistic and better understood way.
Yeah. And what's exciting about this is that for initially it was about, as I said, it was understanding and reaching out to our clients, but also for therapists, it's about that opportunity to we get emails and calls all the time to the foundation. How can I participate in research? Well, here we go, right? I mean, right here is something that like my clinic this morning, we just reached out to our clients, and so across the nation or beyond, right? That therapists can participate in this process as well.
Absolutely, and from the researcher's perspective, clinical population access is one of the most challenging things in our field. So massage therapy, where that's being done, is not in the same place that research tends to happen. And so even though Micah is a clinical therapist and I'm a licensed massage therapist as well, our clientele is not big enough to be able to just look at this one group, and to be able to have some sort of means and vehicle to be able to engage other therapists other than just picking up the phone and calling every therapist in the phone book or going online and trying to say, hey, would you send this out, to have the kind of networking opportunities to be able to allow clinicians to say, oh, this is something that I would like to engage my clients in, and I'm happy to reach out to my clients. And there's sort of that middleman and that connection to clinical population. Yeah. In other sorts of research, so if I'm in medicine, the med school is attached to hospitals and to patients automatically. So that pathway, that highway to be able to do practice-based research is already there. And I know, changing hats a little bit, Doug and I have great interest with the Massage Therapy Foundation and cultivating that practice-based research network, or PBRNs. And this type of study is a great example of one that would work really, really nicely in a PBRN. And our efforts through Research Perch and through clinics that we're reaching out to is demonstrating and giving an example of how that sort of vehicle would work.
Yeah, and again, there's power, right, and scale. And if we put this out to through the auspices, again, of things like the foundation, we become that portal for therapists to then participate in projects like this and really make a difference. Because I would imagine, Micah, the more numbers you have, the more valuable it becomes. And this is not hard for people to share with their clients either, and that's helpful.
I think the really great thing, as a clinician, from my perspective, being able to go and know that even if it's just one client that answers this, if there's 50 people that have one client that answer that baseline, then I have 50 people with data that I can use, right? So even if you only have one client that does longitudinal data intake, that's still one more. If we have 75, 100 massage therapists getting one person, then we're increasing that. And the likelihood of them only having one client enter their information, more people are going to do that because we have relationships with our clients. So I would never ask my clients to do something that I wouldn't myself do. And I know that my clients know that of me.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a really good way for us to reach out to those that we know and get them to involve themselves in understanding that what's working for them is going to be beneficial for other people. And the more we can study how that's going on, the more we can affect a larger amount of people and help them as well.
Absolutely. And I have to say, you know, as a clinician and a clinic owner, it reflects well on us when we do things like this, you know, and maybe it's because I live in an academic community, but it really does reflect well on us and on our profession when we are self-reflecting and we are reaching out and doing projects like this. I think it's, everybody benefits in this. So if you were dreaming, what kind of participation, how many people would you love to have participate in this if you were dreaming?
Well, this is IRB approved, so everything has gone through the Indiana University IRB board. Right now, you know, hundreds. I would love to get hundreds of people dreaming, you know, international would be great. I would like to see different perspectives from different continents. And especially through the pandemic, everyone is kind of doing things differently. So we may actually see differences based on location.
Which is great.
Yeah, yeah. I dream big, so bring it to me and we'll see what we can do with it.
Well, and I would say as well, right now, my dream would be that we have to get an amendment for this IRB, because right now the IRB says up to 500 people. And I would love to see us looking down the pike very soon with 400 participants, and Micah has to put in a quick amendment to make sure that up to 1,000 or 2,000 or what have you. And, you know, it's so exciting as a mentor to have the potential for this project launch a young researcher into academia and into the field when she gets done with this. This is a pre-dissertation study, but this is the type of thing that can really ground her work and help her to make contributions to our field as a clinician researcher as she progresses in her research career.
Well, I like the number 500. I really do. I want to see that point of where, you're working toward that amendment. And honestly, that should not be that difficult, right? This with the number of therapists that are out there, whether you're practicing, whether you're pausing your practice, it's valuable for everybody. And let's just review again for the profession. The real value of this research is fill in the blank.
Essentially for us to better understand the people that we're treating. I mean, that's when we understand where they're coming from, it allows us to put our hands literally on them and help them become the better version of themselves or get them to the goal that they're wanting. Understanding these affective measures is really important because we have a large population in our society who are struggling specifically with affective and mood issues. And we have data on that in other capacities and other aspects, but the people that we're seeing, we don't have kind of that baseline understanding of where they're coming from and how they are feeling and what they're using massage for specifically related to their affective issues, or if they are at all in that capacity. So I think that it's really important to get involved in any way, shape, or form in research because we need to get that baseline data for our field. And the large numbers allow us to understand better, I guess, to understand where we're going and how to hone and make our treatment more efficient.
You know, gosh, I love that answer. And, you know, I'm such a clinician. I mean, I think like that. And the thing is, when I see somebody, the first question is, how can I serve you today, right? Like, what are your needs today? So the way to serve is first listen, right? Not to act, but listen first. And this is a way to listen first. And so I love your answer about, in order to serve them appropriately, we have to understand where they're coming from. And that's gathering information, taking in information, not putting out things. So This is lovely, really an amazing project. So,
Thank you.
Nikki, anything you want to add to the inherent value of this particular study to the profession?
Oh, yes. I think that one of the key pieces with this one is from a practice-based perspective.
Yeah.
And so there's research is starting to, we're starting to get a literature base that is speaking to the notion that we see in our practices all the time, that people's well-being, perspectives, and affective characteristics are impacted by the massage treatments.
Yeah.
But right now, there's not a whole lot of research out there that actually looks specifically at that from a cause and effect, with massage therapy being that pivotal piece. Now, this study again isn't doing that necessarily, or it isn't doing that with it being cross-sectional in nature, and it's not set up as a key, this is the intervention, here's your baseline, and here's what happens after the massage. But what it's doing is it's setting the foundation of data that those studies will be better couched in an evidence base and moving forward with nice hypotheses that have been generated. So I'm really excited that this is in practice and that we're going to the clinical communities to do this.
Yeah.
And that I'm just super crazy proud of Micah and all the researchers in the lab that have been doing various massage-related research.
As you should be, and thank you for being such a great mentor to so many, Nikki. So, you know, for me and for all of you therapists out there watching this episode, when you think about this conversation, think about how it resonates with your own experience. As I was just listening to you talk, Nikki, I was thinking about, because we've been back, in the office for a while now, just hearing people talk about the kind of the shutdown and their inability to come to the office and what that meant for them on multiple levels, right? But hearing those stories, but this is a way to capture those stories, not just from any one therapist or group of therapists, but from therapists nationwide and hopefully worldwide. And so those stories that I heard, I'm sure every therapist out there is hearing those stories. And again, whether you've paused your practice and you're connecting with your clients, or whether you have started your practice and you hear these stories, let's aggregate all those things and create real power out of this and move the profession forward in that way. And it's something that we can all participate in. So it's really exciting stuff. Thank you to both of you for what you're doing for the profession. We will put this out. We'll put a link and a little description with this Research Perch episode, and we will spread the word and get as many people possible, because I want you to have to file for that amendment. That's my goal. All right. So,
Absolutely.
Micah, thank you for the great work you're doing. We're really proud of you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. And Dr. Monk, thank you for being, again, a mentor to so many people and for your input and value to the whole profession. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back on Research Perch. I love coming.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching another episode of Research Perch. Make sure to click the link, share it with your clients. Let's get that amendment happening, okay? Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Hello, everybody. This is Doug Nelson from the Massage Therapy Foundation, and we're taking a little check on the progress of the project. Micah, what do we have so far?
So I looked this morning and there were about 34 entries that were complete and went all the way through the survey. And then about 30 minutes before we started filming, I looked again and we had doubled that. So in just a few hours, we expanded. It's everything I could have asked for. So I'm going to start working on my amendment now and hopefully get above that 500 mark.
That's great. And if we think about the way that we do outreach, if every massage therapist approached 3 people, one is a regular client who's still coming and receiving massage from them, a new client that this is the first time they've ever had massage and they're coming, and one of their clients that for whatever reason isn't able to come back into practice with them. This would be the absolute largest research study that's been done for massage therapy, or collecting data, particularly from a clinical base and a practice base, that's ever been done. And that would be crazy exciting. Get ready for that amendment, Micah.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider donating to the Massage Therapy Foundation so that we can continue to bring you this and many other resources to increase your knowledge and improve your practice. Thank you.